Hey guys, Player Vex here. Today we're going to be going over how to convert 5th edition creatures into Pathfinder 2nd edition creatures. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward. And I'm going to be doing the red slod, but I will show how to do any creature. So let's jump right into this. First things first, one of the things you do want to keep in mind is you want to see if the creature already exists. If you go into the Archives of Nethys and you hit all, first look up if the creature that you're trying to convert already is a thing. I would say 80% of the monster manuals from 5th edition already exist. They already are a creature in 2nd edition, so you shouldn't have much problem doing much. Most people want to convert things that are from adventure paths or campaigns or modules, and in that case then you can go from there. One of the things I would say is see if there is a monster that is already close to this. Take a template like a vampire count or a certain dragon or something that is already representative of what it is. Like if you're trying to convert Strahd, I would just go ahead and use the template for vampires, or use the vampire count that's already available to make your lives much easier. But if you come to a creature that isn't in Pathfinder 2nd edition that you do want converted, then we can go from there. So one of the first things I would recommend is, of course, using the Archives of Nethys. The other thing is, of course, Pathfinder 2 tools. Pathfinder 2 tools is what I use, and they have one for monsters. You're going to get this page right here. So the way this works is you can put in any of the information you want for the creature, and you can move from there. If you click this right here, base roadmaps, you can put in what type of creature it is. So if it's a brute, so it's something that is about beating stuff down and having a lot of hit points, then you can click that and it'll fill in most of this for you. So for example, if we have a 8th level creature and he is let's say he's a magical striker, it'll fill in most of this information based on its level, what its perception should be, and AC and HP, based on, so like, for example, he's going to have a high will save because he's a mage type, and, stuff like that. So we're going to work on the slot today. I already did it beforehand, but I will show you the steps I take to get this creature into 2nd edition. So this is the finished product. Once everything is done and converted, you have the creature's level, the types, the perception, all that stuff ready to go. So I started off with the 5th edition template here. So red slot in 5th edition, armor class 14, HP 93, and its challenge rating is 5. So it is pretty beefy. It's got a lot of HP and not that high armor class, so it is a brute type. It is meant to be hit a lot because it has such high HP. Its strength is high, its con is high, dex is medium, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma are all pretty low. So in this case, we will come down here and we'll say that its strength is high, its dex is low, its constitution is medium, and then the rest of these can stay relatively low, right? So you want to follow those guidelines of what this creature is doing here. Same thing with HP. Let's see. Hit points down here, he's got high hit points. So we're gonna just put in that it's high and then click the button and it'll add it in automatically. Same thing for armor classes. Armor class is low, so you would just hit armor class low and then put that in. For his saving throws, again, he's a brute type, so when you put in the brute type, these things are going to be automatic. It's going to say high, moderate, and probably low. I put this as terrible because his other stats are supposed to be really low, so that would just go in like that. Saves, if he's got any specific saves, I would put it in here. The 5th edition version has magical resistance, so if you wanted to put that into here, you could put that he has a +2 or +3 into saves against magical type effects. He's aberration, so we just again put this in, type aberration. This is going to tell you, usually they have dark vision or whatever. The slot in this case does not. Well, it does have dark vision. and has a perception, so you just put that in. He has a damage resistance here. Those things you can put in again down here. I didn't fill it in, but you fill in these numbers where you have to. And you could keep all these things the same. He has resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder. Keep all that the same and just say, it's 5 resistance, because that's what most creatures have as resistance at this level. Next, after you put in all that stuff, you're going to want to find a template, is what I usually do. So he's a creature level 5, right? He's a challenge rating 5. So I would go onto the Archives of Nephis and click level, and it's going to bring up all the creatures based on level. So I would just go down to where it's supposed to be. So it's a 5th level creature, or a challenge rating 5, so I would say it's a 5th level creature. And I would just find one that suits what it is. So in this case, the red slot is a brute. So I would look through all of these and look for one that is a brute type. So what I went with was the Cyclops. Cyclops is a brute type. He's giant, he's large, just like the red slot. And I would just use these numbers, honestly, for the slot. He's got the AC, he's got HP, all this stuff. I would just keep the same and just plug that stuff in. That's going to make your life 1,000 times easier if you just find a creature of the same challenge rating into creature level, and just fill in the numbers there. Now for more specific things, so the more specific stuff is okay, so the slot in this case has regeneration. So you can go down to where his hit points are and make a note. He regains 10 HP at the start of the turn if he has at least 1 HP. You just plug that in. That is a quite powerful effect. Next, his attacks. So he has multi-attack, which you don't worry about, because multi-attack doesn't exist in Pathfinder 2nd, so I wouldn't worry about that. They can always make multiple attacks per turn. He has bite attack, so we're just going to put in that he has a bite attack, and it does 2d4 plus 6. Pretty simple. Just use the template right here of the different numbers. So this 2d6 plus thing, and bam, put it in. If you're wondering where I got the plus 15 and the plus thing, again, I just took from the Cyclops. The Cyclops has plus 14, but the red slot I wanted to hit more, so he gets a plus 15. That's it. Don't go too crazy. Just put in those numbers like that. Next, he has a claw attack. The claw attack, plus 6 to hit. On hit, it does d8. That's pretty low. So again, I used the template here for high damage, because the claws should be doing a lot of damage. Then on top of that, it has an effect for a con save, or you get infected with a disease. Again, you just want to put in that on that attack, it gets a plus of this. The way this works is just like the zombie. I used the plague zombie as an example of how these diseases work, but don't worry about that too much. You can just make a note there. Next, so 5th edition creatures don't have much going for them. They're usually just a bag of hit points and maybe one special ability. In Pathfinder 2nd, creatures have a lot more things to do, such as the Cyclops' Flash of Insight, Furiosity, Swipe, all these extra things they can do to make the creature feel unique. So you're going to want to put in something that makes the creature more than what it is. In this case, I went to 4th edition. 4th edition is a great place to find extra abilities for creatures if you're converting something. And I use it a lot because the creatures are pretty interesting and pretty straightforward to move into 2nd edition. So in this case, I used the red slot's leaping pounce. So in 4th edition, it allowed him to move 4 squares, so 20 feet, and make 2 claw attacks. If either attacks claws, then the creature's marked. I wouldn't worry about that. The main thing here is that it is allowed to leap and jump for 20 feet and make 2 claw attacks. So I translated that as leaping pounce. I put it as a flourish. A flourish ability means they can only do it at the beginning of their turn. Same thing as the Cyclops, and it is 2 actions because you only want this thing to be doing it once. And he can leap 20 feet and make 2 claw strikes. This counts as 2 attacks when calculating the slot's multiple attack penalty. This is just like the dual strike from the fighter. So you would roll twice, but it would be the same number, so it would be 2 15s. And then after that, they make another attack, then it would be at -10, just like the multiple attack penalty. And this way, now the slot has a way to get around places. And then finally, with the slot, I gave it, so its effect is that if you get infected with this disease, pretty much it impregnates the host, so whoever they attack, and they have an egg in them, and then it becomes like the movie Aliens, where after 3 months, this thing is going to burst out and kill the player. I just left that exactly the same. I'd said the creature becomes a host of an egg, it makes a saving throw. The DC is 20 here. So what you can find is level-based DC. This can be found on either your GM screen, or you can just, again, look it up in the Archives of Nethys. I would find where the creature's level is. He's a level 5 creature, so this DC becomes 20, and you just plug that in, so they make a Fortitude save of 20, and this effect only has an effect on failed. So on a failing save, over the next 3 months, and it's exactly the same. All this stuff's the same. The only thing I changed is this disadvantage part. So in the normal one, he has disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and stuff. So you could put in disadvantage into Pathfinder 2nd Edition. There's no reason not to. But if you don't want to put in disadvantage, I would say it gets a penalty. So in this case, I put -4 to ability checks, but that number can change. If you feel like -4 is too powerful, you can do it -1, -2, whatever you feel is right. In this case, this creature is moving through the host's cavity and chest area, so that would affect the person really negatively, so I put -4. Again, you can just say it gives you disadvantage. Players understand what disadvantage is in most parts. If not, you can just say you just roll 2 dice. That's about it. Then it's just fluff that I got from 4th edition, and that's how you get your basic creature from 5th edition over. Pretty much you're going to find a creature that is about the same. In this case, a red slot is about the same as a Cyclops, and you're just going to plug the numbers in. That's all it is. And then give it 1 or 2 cooler abilities than in 5th edition, where the creatures can be lacking. In the case of creatures that have spells, there's a lot of creatures that have spell type effects in 5th edition, and there might not be the equivalent spell in 5th edition and 2nd edition. I would just try my best. Most times you can look online and see how people either converted the spell already, or there's a spell that is already that type of effect, and just plug it in. I wouldn't go too crazy on trying to figure out every single spell. I mean, there's so many. If we go over here, there's like so many spells and stuff. I would just pick a couple, maybe 5 or 6 spells, because the creature's not going to live that long, so you don't need a list of 1,000 spells unless it's like a lich or something like that. And really, if you're converting high-level monsters at that point, then you should know what you're doing. I would say 80% of people aren't going to get past level 10, so having creatures that high level won't really matter that much. But if you have to, again, find a template, find a creature that comes close to it, and then just work from there. And that's how I got the red slot here. Again, you're just filling in numbers. You're putting in things that already exist. In this case, the Cyclops, and you're just plugging it in. Same thing with Adventure Paths. There's plenty of templates for PCs and all this other stuff. In the Dungeon Master's Guide for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, there is a whole page on how to create monsters from scratch. Again, that's very, very complicated, and I would say it's wasting your time for the most part. The easiest way to do it is, what level's your party? If your party is 3rd, 4th, 5th level, or what level do you want the party to fight this creature? If it's supposed to be a boss, make it 2 levels higher, make it 2 levels lower if it's supposed to be something weak. Find a creature that comes close and just fill in the numbers. I wouldn't go and make something from scratch or try to or try to do anything fancy with it. Just plug in all the numbers, find something that comes close, and 90% of the time you'll be done. There's no need to go the extra 10 steps and make something that is is going to take so much time that the players are going to just destroy in 2-3 rounds. Again, if you're going to make custom monsters, or if you're going to make something for, like, if you make your minis first and then you want to build something off of that, then sure, just take your time, find something that comes close, and again, you're going to get through 80% of the way done. And you had a couple cool abilities. Look at 4th edition, look at other creatures in 2nd edition, and that's it. So guys, like I said, pretty straightforward. Another one of those straightforward videos that I just say, go ahead and use something that already exists. Don't make your lives harder as a DM. You got enough to worry about. So leave a comment below, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.